There is something sacred about these early morning hours. While the world is still quiet, while emails haven't started coming in, while the weight of the day hasn't settled on your shoulders yet, God is already here, waiting for you. If you're listening to this right now, it's not by accident. Maybe you woke up feeling heavy. Maybe your mind has been restless, even before the day began. Or maybe you've been carrying the same prayer in your heart for a long time, wondering when something will finally change. And I want you to hear this clearly this morning. God does some of his deepest work in the silent hours. Between 3 and 5 in the morning, there are fewer distractions, fewer voices competing for your attention. It's often the only time we're not performing, not rushing, not trying to hold everything together. And in that stillness, God doesn't just look at your circumstances, he looks at your heart. Some breakthroughs don't begin with doors opening on the outside. They begin with peace settling on the inside. They begin with clarity replacing confusion, with hope quietly rising again after a long season of waiting. You may have been praying for a breakthrough in your life, something tangible, something real. Maybe it's your health. Maybe it's your finances. Maybe it's a relationship that feels strained or broken. And while you're asking God to change what's around you, he may be gently working on what's within you first. Because when your heart is steady, when your spirit is anchored, you can walk through things that once felt impossible. And that kind of strength is built in moments like this, when no one else is watching, when it's just you and God. If you're tired, it's okay. If you're discouraged, you're not alone. God is not asking you to have perfect words or unshakable faith this morning. He's simply inviting you to be here, to sit in his presence, to let the noise fade, to remember that even when you don't see movement yet, he is still working. Right here, in these quiet hours, God specially meets his people, not to overwhelm them, but to restore them. And as we continue, let your heart rest in this truth. This time with God is not wasted, and your breakthrough may already be closer than you think. There's a moment many people don't talk about, the moment when the alarm goes off. Your body feels heavy, and everything in you wants to stay in bed. Your mind starts listing reasons why you should rest just a little longer. You're tired. You didn't sleep well. You've been carrying too much for too long. And yet, somehow, you're here. You showed up, and that matters more than you realize. Because when you come to God tired, worn down, and empty-handed, you're not disqualifying yourself, you're positioning yourself. God is not impressed by polished prayers or perfect strength. He's drawn to honesty. He sees you when no one else does, especially in these quiet hours when it would be easier to turn over and go back to sleep. There is something powerful about choosing God when it costs you comfort, not because God demands sacrifice, but because sacrifice reveals desire. It says, "Lord, I need you more than I need rest right now." And even if all you can offer this morning is a whisper, even if all you can say is, "God, I'm here," heaven hears that prayer. Some of the most meaningful prayers are not loud or eloquent. They're simple. They're exhausted. They're real. And God meets you right there. He doesn't shame your weakness, he strengthens it. Scripture reminds us that his power is made perfect in weakness. And that means this moment, right now, is not a disadvantage. It's an invitation to lay down the pressure to be strong and let God carry what you've been holding on to yourself. You may feel like you've been giving and giving with very little left. You may feel unseen, unappreciated, or quietly overwhelmed. But God sees every early morning step of faith. He sees the prayers no one applauds. He sees the tears that fall in the dark, and he honors the heart that keeps coming back, even when it's hard. So take a deep breath. You don't have to prove anything today. You don't have to fix everything. You're here, and God is here too. And in this sacred space, strength is being renewed, even if you don't feel it yet. Before we begin to pray, I want to remind you of something important. A breakthrough doesn't always start with everything around you changing. Very often, it begins with something within you being realigned, with your heart becoming steady again, with your spirit finding rest in God's presence. And this moment right now is not about rushing God or demanding answers. It's about drawing near and letting Him do what only He can do. So as you're listening, take a slow breath. Let your shoulders relax. You don't have to carry the weight of the day ahead yet. God already knows what you're facing. He knows the prayers you've been repeating, the ones you're afraid to say out loud, and the ones you've almost stopped believing in. And still, He invites you closer. Not to perform, not to explain yourself, but simply to be with Him. In these quiet morning hours, God gently reminds us that we don't have to control everything. We don't have to figure it all out before coming to Him. Sometimes the most powerful prayer is surrender, letting go of timelines, letting go of expectations, letting go of the need to see immediate results. When you release those things, you make room for God to move in ways you couldn't plan on your own. As we move into this time of prayer, I invite you to open your heart. Set aside distractions. If you can, close your eyes for a moment and remember that God is near. He is attentive, He is compassionate, and He is working, even now. This prayer is not just about asking, it's about aligning your heart with His, trusting His timing, and resting in His faithfulness. Stay with me, and let us go to God together.